The new season has started and already there are so many talking points. Indeed, this second look could probably be about 2 hours long, but we're going to do our best to contain it to 45 minutes somehow. But Tom, football is back. So are Bournemouth. And in spite of the defeat, there is a lot of optimism. And you know what? Bournemouth aren't even done getting the players in. It just underlines, mate, Iraola is the man.
Just a bit, mate. Yeah, I think it cemented that, didn't it? That with him in charge, we're going to play a certain way, we're going to cause problems and we're going to score goals. I don't think we were that far off. I know what you mean. The performance was very good. But I think beforehand, we were kind of saying they'll probably be too strong, but I fancy us to score. And if you look at the game, that's what happened. But I think in the game in general, I felt like we were just as good as them for large parts. I didn't think we had to soak it up as much as I thought we would. Right. And with the players we had out and the players we haven't got in yet and the players we've lost, it was really impressive. And we still played that football again. It hadn't changed at all. You're going to have lapses now and again, particularly against a side like Liverpool and with their attacking quality. But we caused them a lot of problems, mate. And it's going to be interesting when, I'm sure we'll get onto it later in the week when we preview the Wolves game, but in different type of games what we do, because I think as much as these teams are going to hurt us more at the back, they are going to be open, which does suit us, because some of the counters, particularly for one of the goals, was very impressive.
But I suppose it should be also noted that Liverpool weren't quite themselves. I think the Crystal Palace match in the Community Shield probably maybe emphasised that a little bit, where they drew and then eventually lost on penalties. But this wasn't a well-oiled Liverpool side just yet. I'm sure that they're going to improve as the season does go on. But I think, if we're just focusing on ourselves a bit, I don't think we've got anything to be worried about. I mean, we were thinking it's going to be a hard slog this season, and look, maybe that might prove to be the case. But based on what I saw from that match, even though it wasn't under par Liverpool, what I saw from ourselves, really, really good. Some really nice patterns of play. Some of the breakaways, like you say, were just absolutely phenomenal to watch. And players that have, on the whole, seamlessly just filled in for the previous players that have left, like Truffert, etc. Absolutely superb from him. And, Diakite, I thought he was all right, and, still time to improve, of course, but on the whole, it was pretty positive. Yeah,
it was a lot of positives, mate, a lot more than negatives. I think we got to be careful, because I think that it was a really good performance, but, just it's not going to happen, but just say for argument's sake, okay, we play like this against the good teams that are open, but just get nicked. But then we can't break down the other teams, then we will struggle. So we've still got to get that balance. And you got to remember last season, I think a lot of people spoke about how what probably cost us in that Europe race was the, no disrespect, but the results against Ipswich, against Leicester, again, even Brentford and teams that were just a little bit more, tougher to break down, a little bit more disciplined, a little bit more organised, whereas Liverpool were very open. And that did suit us. But equally, you've just got to look at it and go, the quality that they've got, you should be able to have enough. And it's just, it's just them little areas when we have a bit more of the ball, as we've said so many times, don't need to go over it, but when we have a bit more of the ball, it's how we do things, because there's just not going to be as much space to run into as all.
And of course, emotions would have been high in this game, as they have been for the last month or so, of course. So they're just getting used to things as they are at the moment. But I thought our performance was actually quite a statement, really, to Premier League fans in general, but also to ourselves, to kind of, just emphasise that we are in an okay position. And if we strengthen, maybe we're in a better position. A brilliant weekend on Merseyside, and we do need to get stuck into how good it was. Now, if you are not subscribed to the channel, what are you doing? Because there is an away day show that comes up, which will review and rank the Anfield atmosphere compared to other grounds we visit this season. Now, I've got to say, previously, when we've been to Anfield, I think the context of the game and the calibre of opponents for them is maybe a little bit underwhelming. Therefore, the atmosphere hasn't been all that. But for the first time, I can say Anfield was bloody loud, and it really was loud. Possibly one of the loudest crowds I've been to. So that all lends into how the game went.
I think there's definitely that. As you mentioned earlier with the emotions and stuff, that plays a part. I think they always say, don't they, when we've played them, go, God, it's not as loud as I thought. They all say, but, we were 3-0 up after half an hour. And you got to appreciate that. And they get out for the big games. But I think the way the game went, first game of the new Premier League season as well, they can certainly get it going when they need to. And when the players need them, they certainly pay them back. So, it got really loud in there. And that Chiesa song is quite a lively one, so it had to be him to score, didn't it? But, it was fair play to them. They got really behind the team and kind of helped get them over the line, and that's what Anfield's known for, isn't it?
So even though Richard Hughes had an underwhelming transfer window the last time round, this time, of course, it's been great. I advise you to check out our preview show from Q Sports Bar, where we talk about just what he's done and maybe sacrificing his own friendships with his pal Eddie Howe in order to get Isak over the line. Whether that happens or not, we don't know. But in the previous transfer window, he signs a player that contributes towards one of the best atmospheres at Anfield seen for a long, long time. That man is a genius. But look, if you want to watch the away day show, Liverpool fans, there's a couple of things you can do.
Yeah, click the like button while you're there, because you obviously like it if you want to come watch it. If you click the bell, it'll notify you when shows are out, and then click subscribe as well as a big thank you. Then we really appreciate that. And yeah, we'll do the away day shows back, so you can see as the season goes how you're comparing to the other sides as well.
And the vlog's absolutely flown as well, by the way. Thank you so much for anyone that subscribed. As a result, we've now gone over 21,000 subscribers, and the vlog in about 24 hours got about 15,000
Yeah,
views,
I'm glad it's
crazy.
Glad it doesn't only do well when we lose 9-0 there. So that is a relief.
Exactly. Right, one moment though that probably overshadowed the match, of course, was the racist abuse that Antoine Semenyo suffered by, we need to make it clear, just one isolated supporter in the first half. To us watching in the ground, we couldn't really work out, but apparently on TV it was quite clear what happened fairly early doors, and it swiftly transpired that some unsavoury words were said towards Antoine, not only once, but they were repeated to him as well. Totally horrendous. But the way that every other single Liverpool fan in the stadium, the club, its players, its staff, their manager, fans on social media, the way they all rallied round was absolutely class. And this, I think, was reflected by Antoine's own message on social media as well. I think Adam Smith was on Sky Sports after the game, just questioning whether these kind of taking the knee gestures, etc., actually had any effect. I suspect they don't.
No, you can't. What can you do about an isolated fan? Do you know what I mean? You could do all these gestures, and you're still going to have wankers.
Yeah, you are. And, education is massively important with this whole issue. But I'm glad that this guy is not going to be allowed to watch football matches anymore, because it was put out there on the BBC Sport website today. 47-year-old man from Liverpool was arrested. As a result, it includes a ban on attending any regulated football match in the UK, and also not going within 1 mile of a designated football stadium as well. So
yeah, no, they've obviously done the right thing there, mate. And big up Antoine again, because not only the performance after that, which you and I and certainly won't be able to understand how that must feel for Ant, but the fact that he just kind of dusted himself down and played the way he played, by the way. But also just little things like he kept going and taking the throw-ins. Do you know what I mean? He wasn't, fair play to him. And yeah, I know a few of the Liverpool players and obviously the Wolves players as well were going up to him and stuff. And he was quite close to half time, so maybe he managed to regroup a little bit. But yeah, just shows the character of the man. And also, by the way, if that happened, I think Smithy kind of said about it, if that happened, something like that happened to you and you score twice, you tell him, I'm giving it big ones. He didn't at all. Didn't give a big one at all. It shows shows kind of respect and the dignity of the man. So yeah, fair play, Ant.
I think, the conversation that we're having, really, it's such an important issue that it really should go on longer. But also, we need to highlight that it was just one bad apple in an otherwise well-kept orchard. So let's just, leave it at that, because we want to talk about everything else that was good about the day. And even a 4-2 loss actually feels good from our perspective, because we saw some such good things. We were learning a lot, actually, in the way of good things, even before a ball was kicked, because on our way to Anfield, and then little pings were happening on the phone. 2 things, mate. Signing Ben Doak for around 25 mil. But not only Okie doke. Love that from you.
Thank you.
And secondly, selling Dango Ouattara to... I mean, look, we knew this kind of rumour, but it's 42.5 million, mate. Pants down, you're the loser. I mean,
still...
What?
Listen, by the way, Dango could end up being... He's got a high ceiling, he's still young. He could end up being a really good fit for him. Like, it wouldn't shock me if he ends up being a really good footballer at times. He is bloody brilliant, and he was superb for us last season at times. But also at times, he looks like, he's bloody hopeless.
What was that tweet you saw from Alex Deutsch?
Yeah, that was a good one. It was like, he showed moments of brilliance, but then other times he looks like he's playing in wooden clogs. And I thought that's quite a good way of putting it. I was from, wow, yeah. But So I think, okay, yeah, I would have liked him to have stayed. If you had just said, I would have gone, no, he's a good option, he's versatile. But if someone said to me 42 million,
you bite your arm.
I mean, I don't even drive much. I'd have drove him there. I mean, honestly, I feel sorry for, see, a lot of Brentford fans asking about him, and we're not being disrespectful. Again, he is a good player. I cannot believe 42 million.
And this is the thing, it sounds like we're being sort of disrespectful, but he's one of those players, right? For instance, if Semenyo, for example, Dango plays on one wing often, Semenyo on the other. If he has a bad game, we all notice it, and we all say like, God, Semenyo's had an absolutely crap game. He was really poor. With Dango, it's like, well, he's had a bad game because that's what he does. Dango, he's a 50-50 player. Yeah. Sometimes he's absolutely brilliant and explosive, but other times he just really lets himself down. His touch, I think some of the unpredictability is he doesn't know what he's going to do.
Yeah.
I think the goal that he scored against Everton in the summer series just completely summed up Dango.
Yeah. Falling over.
Runs forward, loses the ball, one touch later it's in the back of the net. Like that is him down to a T. But let's not forget he provided us with some unbelievable moments. That hat-trick against Nottingham Forest.
Yeah.
Unreal. Last-minute limbs at Spurs.
Yeah.
Last-minute limbs at Portman Road. And possibly one of the best signing photos we've ever seen, with the most creased shirt known to man, straight out of the packet from Marks and Spencer, gleaming white. Dango, what were you doing there?
Let's mention the penalty against Wolves, which was very cool. And then also when we went to America, not this time, but the time we went to America, he done a little Panenka, didn't he, on the shootout as well. So he's got something about him, and I genuinely wish him all the best. He never put foot wrong, and he put a lot of shifts in for us, like we briefly mentioned there, played up front, played left back. He put in a lot of shifts. It's more I think, we just need to go, rather than not being disrespectful to Dango, but rather go, well done to Thiago, to Frano. Do you know what I mean? Well done, because that is a hell of a deal from us. And now we can replace quite comfortably. So yeah, that was really impressive. Because we've said, I think it's only right to say, I felt personally that maybe Zaba, for example, felt like we were put into a corner and he's worth more than that. Personally, especially with this. But this is like, no, I would have probably taken 30. So yeah, fair play.
In terms of Ben Doak, obviously it's a pertinent time to reach out to Liverpool fans and ask them to tell us what he's all about. Put it in the comments. We would love to learn a little bit more about him. I was reading on a forum and the Daily Record, the Scottish newspaper up there, they absolutely rave about him. He's got a positive future for their national team, and they've got no doubt that he's going to be a fantastic player. Apparently Celtic were interested, and indeed Brendan Rodgers rates him highly. And also, by the way, he already follows AFCB on Instagram.
Yeah. Fair play. I think, Borough fans liked him when he was there for a brief spell. I think there was talk, if you remember, in January of us trying to get him in on loan to the end of the season. Then he got injured. And I know he's done well. I think Liverpool fans have probably only seen glimpses or know for the academy and things. But I've got a mate who's Celtic fan and he's Scottish, and he's like their next shining star in Scotland, which I kind of said, what does that mean? Yeah. But yes, he's highly thought of. So yeah, I mean, it's a lightning quick winger from Scotland. What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah, we won't mention RF. Who we're talking about. It just shows as well, like Chelsea have done it, Liverpool are doing it, and I think we've got aspirations to be in this position as well, whereby we can create these products from our academy and ship them out for big amounts. Was it Morgan that they sold for 10 million as well? Chelsea have done it with a number of their stars as well. Hopefully that's what we can end up doing. I mean, that is just printing money, so fair play.
Yeah.
Now, before going into the stadium, of course, there were and are sad scenes outside Anfield with the tributes to Diogo Jota and Andre Silva. We went and saw the scenes there, and I just thought, it was me and Lucy that just before we met up with Steve, etc., that we thought it was pertinent just to spend a few minutes just absorbing all we could, because whilst we've got this like relentless rat race of 38 matches on the way this season, sometimes I think you should just sometimes forget that there are individuals involved in the game, and oh man, really, really sad scenes, and ones, of course, that were reflected inside the ground too. At this point, I want to credit Steve Shoveler, who's on our Telegram group, by the way, also Gary Chapman, Heather Hoggett, and the Cherries Trust, and actually just AFC Bournemouth supporters in general that helped to organise the tribute in our end, and also the impeccable respect shown during the 1 minute silence. I mean, we shouldn't have to pat ourselves on the back for just being quiet during those moments, but quite often in football it doesn't quite transpire like that, and I'm glad to say on this occasion it was absolutely flawless, and a superb mosaic as well from the Liverpool supporters as well for both Andre and Diogo. So that was really, really good.
Absolutely.
On to the football, we need to get stuck into the game. Before we do so, by the way, it's just worth saying that if you're watching on YouTube, we're going to be showing a number of graphics on screen from SofaScore, which is our app of choice this season. Look, every download helps us as a channel, so that'd be massive if you could just pop onto your app store and download it using our link that is right at the bottom there. But also, we're helping them by promoting it as well. So it's a two-way thing. And Tom, you use it for a fair bit, don't you?
I use it. I quite like, when you watch a game and then you have this thing in your head of the eye test. I quite like going there and going, I'm sure he won every header, for example. Yeah. And then you could go on and you see every single stat, who covered the most ground in the game. There's just every stat you want. So, yeah, I quite enjoy to see if I can back up my own point or think, before I say this to Sam, did it actually happen? I'm actually right. But, it is really good. So I've used it for a long time. So, yeah, definitely recommend it, mate.
So, Bournemouth fans, Liverpool fans, we know there are a fair few Liverpool fans that have subscribed. If you want to say thank you for what we do, that's free for you. Just scan the QR code or go to afcbpodcast.com/SofaScore. That'll take you to the App Store. Just download it. And we'd be truly appreciative of that. So, mate, team lineup.
Oh, mate, I was so close.
Came out. You were. You didn't think that DKT would be in, but he was.
The only one I got wrong.
It was.
Out of 22.
Yeah, pretty
I
good.
got every single Liverpool. So, yeah, if you haven't subscribed already, why are you not? Because if you're a Liverpool fan, I told you what the team was going to be.
Yeah, what are you doing?
So, yeah, I think I remember saying I'm not sure if it's going to be Szoboszlai or Curtis Jones, but I went for Szoboszlai, which they did. And then for us, I just felt it might be a little bit too soon for Diakite, so I went for Hill. But so that was the only one I got wrong, which was a bit annoying. But, yeah, I like the look from our perspective. I like the look of our team. There was a few interesting little points more on the bench than anything. I think what I was interested to know in the starting lineup is Tav in the 10 or is Scott in the 10? Who's going to be the deeper one? It obviously transpired that Scott was higher, and then who's going to be on the left and who's going to be on the right out of Brooks and Semenyo. But yeah, on the substitutes bench, Will Dennis, friend of the show, was on the bench as the goalkeeper. I think a lot of Bournemouth fans expected Alex Poulsen to be the number 2 this season.
So what does that mean? He's going on loan somewhere maybe?
Potentially, or they're both scrapping for that number 2 and Dennis is impressed. He would have impressed more in pre-season because he played and Poulsen didn't. But yeah, and the other thing was to just notice for fair play, Reece Dottin made the bench, one of the youngsters from the academy, but no Fev. Yeah. Which means that would suggest that he fancies Dottin over Fev, which would suggest to me that Fev's not in favour.
Yeah. Like that.
Yeah, I just made that on the spot as well. Brilliant. And apart from that, I think Mepham on the bench, but you're not going to have 2 centre-halves on the bench, so you went for Hill. But so there was a few little interesting points in there. But I think the thing that surprised me most once the game got started was Semenyo on the right and Brooks on the left, actually. But I think it was the right call.
I think it probably was. By the way, Tom.
Yeah.
A few Liverpool fans in the way end.
No, that wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
No, we're all over that.
We're
all over that.
Happened. How does this happen? I would love to know, but I think it transpired that every Bournemouth fan that wanted to get a ticket could get a ticket, but there may be some change hands, maybe some just popped onto the AFCB website and registered and got a ticket, even though they got a Liverpool postcode. That's fine. Come on. Anyway, I hate that. Right. Thoughts then, mate? Because first half was for large parts they didn't really threat. We maybe had some of the clearer chances, would you say?
I would say so. I'd say before goal we had the better chances. They probably had a little bit more, definitely had more of the ball. They had a little bit more going on in and around the box. There's a few little crosses and little half chances with a few headers and bits, but there wasn't much. I think Salah cut in, had a shot that Petrovic made a save he should make, but a decent save.
He did well, by the way, Petrovic.
I thought he was, that's the way, I like it. Petrovic was just, when you get a new goalkeeper and you're really nervous for him because you think if he just drops one early.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought he made some really, really good saves, so I was really pleased for him. But yeah, apart from that, I thought the best chances were us. They really were us, mate. There was one where Semenyo ran in at pace.
Oh, was that true fair from the left post?
Yeah, and it always looked like he was just, if he got any touch, it was probably going to go over, but he got ahead of Kirkus like he did all day and just hit it over. He had a torrid time on Milos, didn't he? Bless him. But yeah, we had a few chances, and obviously later on in the half there was a few more as well. I think that
one for Tav.
Yeah, Diakite plays a ball in the channel.
Yeah.
It was Evan Ilson chased it down really well. And I think Smithy, who, by the way, rolling back the years, was there every week.
Mate, like...
He was unbelievable in that, especially that first half.
How are we going to commemorate this guy when he does eventually retire? We'll play for someone else. I mean, I don't know what we'll do.
No, he wouldn't never. But yeah, he got down, cut it back. And then if I want to be kind to Tav, I go, I think he thinks Brooks is going to hit it. So that's put him off slightly, but Brooks actually does well, a little dummy for Tav. Tav snatches at it, kind of hits the ground.
That was a golden chance.
Really and then obviously after that happens, they were going to go up the other end. But we also had we probably shouldn't skate over the fact that we may have got away with one.
Yeah, so we're talking about the goal where obviously Ekitike scores and it rebounds off Senesi, but should have Marcus Senesi been on the pitch, because there was that moment previous where it looked like it was an intentional handball to get the ball away from Ekitike.
It was very intentional. I mean, he's literally swiped at it like a cat to try and get... He knows he's made an error, and he's gone to just punch the ball. But fortunately, he doesn't really make much contact. It kind of and it doesn't change anything.
So it doesn't change the trajectory of the ball. So
no, but the intent's there. So I wasn't sure. Even at the time when they were looking at it, I'm really not sure if he's going to give this or not. Is there a case that I can't remember? I think it might have been Diakite. Someone was getting back and he was quite away from goal, so he might have got away with just a yellow anyway.
VAR claimed it was an involuntary action. I wouldn't say that was involuntary.
But they looked at the first one when it hit his knee.
Yeah.
And they went, well, that's not his fault. But they didn't, not the swipe.
No, yeah.
So yeah, probably got away with one there. I mean, I think we're definitely due one. But
however, it seemed that karma was played its part in the ball just rebounding back to Ekitike when he picked up the ball and seemed to go through Senesi with ease. I think Senesi part cleared it, but hit Ekitike's knee, and he was just one-on-one with Petrovic and a really nicely side-footed goal. And it led me to think, is that the first palindromic player to score against Bournemouth, like palindrome? But has Eze scored against Bournemouth before? Because if he has...
Yeah, Eze has.
So there you go. So that's the second. Are there any other palindromes that have scored against Bournemouth? I would love to know. A palindrome, by the way, for kids, a word you can spell backwards that's the same forwards, you know? So Ekitike is one of them.
Yeah, definitely Eze. Yeah.
Every day's a school day with back of the net. But well taken finish. Anfield erupts. And after that, I can't really remember us having many chances. I think it just petered out that
Petered out a little bit, yeah. There was a few little balls in the box and stuff. But yeah, it was kind of getting nearer to half time. So it was frustration because I felt like we didn't deserve to be behind. We could have been a couple up, as we mentioned, before they scored. So frustration, and then you're thinking, see how we come out in the second half, mate. Yeah,
well, by the way, was there a mid-game interview on TV? I know there was in the Arsenal game, I think. Yeah. But these mid-game interviews, they need to go. There's absolutely zero value in them whatsoever. But look, I had no time to think about that. I was in the corn course, had a lovely beverage, and I did a Tom Jordan. Because we heard a rather loud noise on 49 minutes, and that was when Gakpo picked up the ball and he sort of managed to run across the edge of the area with... I think Tyler Adams fell for a dummy. I think Tavernier fell for a dummy. Senesi slid maybe a little bit early, but a lovely finish from him.
From their point of view, it's a very good goal, and it is a very good goal. I don't think you can pick on them too much. Yeah, they look back and go, I kind of fell for that a little bit, but that was the quality of Gakpo. And again, when he's done all that, he's still got to find the corner, and he did do it very well. Very underrated player, I always think. I always think they, understandably, you talk about the new lad, and then you talk about Salah, and you talk about all these different players in verts, but you don't really hear them going on about Gakpo. I think every time we played against him, I think he's a very clever footballer. But yeah, really good goal. And then you kind of think, well, we played really well here. Let's see the game out. Let's not get a hammer in and see it out at 2-0. Happy days, I would have thought.
Changes were made, but Liverpool did first, and that was with Kirkes making way for Robertson.
And I'm just going to talk to Alan Shearer. Kirkes come off.
Yeah, he did. And also Frimpong coming off and Endo coming on. And that seemed to, from that moment, we seemed to play a lot better. And as the attacking momentum suggests, you can see there the thickness of the blue lines. That's when we start to play ball.
I thought, and I know they adjusted very quickly afterwards. I got why the fullbacks were coming off. I think they mentioned that Frimpong felt his hamstring before, or at half time or something. And Kirkes was, and I'm not joking aside, Kirkes was on a yellow card, and we were causing him problems. But the Endo at right back, I thought we got on that straight away, and he didn't look right there. Yeah. And it was only a few minutes later that they then brought on Gomez, put him right back and moved Endo into midfield. And I thought Slot, to be fair to him, saw straight away that we were getting on Endo, I felt. So, but yeah, that certainly changed. But we just kept fighting, mate, to be honest. We hadn't played badly, but it would have been easy at 2-0 to kind of get a little bit down in the dumps about it, but we just kept going, mate.
So Joe Gomez is still there, but he was linked away a few times, wasn't he?
Oh, yeah, loads of times.
He was linked with us at one point.
The problem, he just gets injuries all the time. Yeah. So I think teams are almost reluctant, and I think because they lost Kwanzaa and haven't bought in another centre-back yet, I think they probably will with Gahey. They've kind of got to keep hold of him for now.
I need to make an admission of guilt.
Go on.
Either it was on the vlog. I was just chatting to Joe from the QP here, and he said on one of your videos, maybe it was, I don't think it was the vlog, it must have been fan cams, which I haven't watched back because I rarely do. Had a few beers, so you probably don't come across too well on that. I think I may have said that Truffert crosses
I can see
for Semenyo. Yeah. Look, I'm not the only person that's done that. The club once mixed up Brooks and Truffert as well, right? So, hey, we're all the same. But it was a movement where Tyler Adams won the ball, and then what a pass it was that freed up Brooks, by the way. And Brooks, showed a little bit of pace there.
Yeah, I felt, because Brooks was a weird one for me. I thought he had an odd night, really. I thought he was, first half, I thought at times he was getting in such good areas and really try, but you just felt he just hasn't got the pace. I feel like that's how I play football, because I'm not the quickest, and I do something good, beat a man, but I can't get away from him. And I felt like Brooks was having that a little bit. So when the ball come down, like you say, he got onto it, but I thought he's got it this first time, because if he takes a touch, they're going to catch up. But perfection.
Can I tell you?
Perfection of a pass.
That goal reminds me of a carbon copy, almost, of Brett Pittman at Fulham.
Oh, yeah, okay, Daniels.
Yeah, where Mark Pugh plays a ball, not dissimilar to that, to Charlie Daniels, who's legging it down the left, crosses it first time, low and hard. Pittman. I think Pittman
a little bit more of a cutback.
Yeah, Pittman had a few players in front of him, whereas Semenyo was the most advanced player. But yeah, really good for Semenyo, and picked up the ball, and we were right back in it. And we looked likely to create more chances, and we did. Yeah. With one of the best counter-attacking goals I've seen since Dan Gosling.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that, but that is up there for me. Yeah.
By the way,
go on.
What an assist by Hamad Traoré!
Oh, what a player!
That is the best assist I've ever seen in my life.
What a player!
I mean, just a short 3-yard pass on the edge of his own area, just feeding Semenyo. Who does the rest?
What's amazing now, though, is like we spoke about stats earlier with SofaScore, make sure you download it, and you look at all these stats, you go, Hamad Traoré's, but how many minutes he's played? That's an assist registered. It's going to look really good, isn't it, on there? But no, was pleased to see him come on anyway, by the way, just brief measure. I thought he'd done, as much as it was a difficult game for all the subs because of the way the game was going, thought he'd done fine when he come on. And he just knocks the ball. I think it was Salah that lost it, actually. Yeah. But then Semenyo gets it. If you had said at that point, he's the one that he just scores. How Traoré's got that assist. He was running, and
just direct,
just past the ball.
It was 4-on-2 at one point, wasn't it? Yeah. He had Truffert and Tavernier to his left.
Says a lot about kind of then decoy runs though, because
he had Ever to his right.
Yeah, it's so important because you got two defenders. They don't know what to do. If there's no one on the left, they can commit to Semenyo a lot more. So then decoy runs do help. But I could not. There were so many moments if you just go back and pause it at different times where you think, how is he not passing this ball? But that's the confidence of the man. I never doubted him. But yeah, what a run, and then he shifts it, and then obviously Alisson thinks he's going to pass it, and it's a great finish, mate. But actually selfish from Semenyo, I felt.
Yeah. Should have passed it. Should have passed it. But just as he puts it onto his left foot, you can see that Van Dijk and Konate just separate somewhat. And a clear path was there. But what a goal it was. And he certainly lit the blue touch paper. It's sort of... That was the moment where the game ended for us, though, wasn't it? Because I can't remember us having anything after that. Because Liverpool, I think, when you have to rely on your star men, I mean, look, they did make some changes, as we can see now. Wirtz comes off, and Federico Chiesa, the one who makes it 3-2, does come on. And also, it's worth saying that Ben Winterburn, who's also involved in the goal, he came on for Brooks as well.
Yeah, it's no disrespect to Winterburn. He's obviously a young lad for our academy, but I think it does show a little bit of what we said last season, that games like that is so tense. You've got people like Brooks who's put such a shift in. You need to replace. We still haven't quite got the options, have we? And we knew that would be the case. First game of the season, we haven't done all our business yet. But that was an issue. If it went down to the bench, I thought we'd struggle. And it did happen. I mean, not they did anything particularly wrong. It took a bit out of us. Yeah. But yeah, it was one of them situations where, weirdly, I remember being at Everton last season and could not believe we'd come back from 2-0 down.
Yeah.
And it was 2-2. And at that point, you go, you know what, we could win this, because I actually felt like we were the team that looked most likely, but just take a point.
Yeah.
So when I remembered that, I thought, I did that at Everton. We're going to win this. But I felt a little bit, maybe a little bit harsh on the players, but I felt a little bit like the players felt like that. Because it just slowly started retreating. They probably put it on us a bit more, to be fair to them. But I didn't feel like it was coming, though. I felt like we looked okay. They didn't have loads of chances.
They didn't have loads of chances, but I just felt the atmosphere.
They were sucking it in, weren't they?
The atmosphere shifted up a little bit. You smelt the desperation for the Liverpool fans. And I think it was Salah on the right-hand side. He puts in a ball that he somehow finds its way to Petrovic. I don't think Petrovic was expecting it. And he sort of kind of like parried it into the air. And then Winterburn heads it onto Diakite.
Yeah,
and then the ball just rebounds back to Chiesa, who's almost leaning back.
Falling back, really.
Back. And he puts out a leg, the outside of his right foot, and then it was a cultured finish.
Yeah.
Cue scenes at Anfield, cue a song about Chiesa that was, a great song, very addictive, and the whole stadium was absolutely bouncing. Something I don't think I've ever said when I've been there before. But
no, exactly. No, fair play.
Just felt it coming. And then salt was added to the wound with Salah, and you can maybe look at James Hill for being a little bit naive, getting turned inside out on that right-hand side.
Yeah, and I think, again, it's maybe a little bit rusty just come on in the game, and you've got Salah running that. And he was just backing off. I think he was probably a bit wary. And Salah does very well, does what he does best. But yeah, Hill should probably do better. There, I could see why we chucked him on at right back, just because you're thinking he might get his head on something if we get a set piece.
Yeah.
And then obviously we chucked Krupi on as well, just to get another body up there. But yeah, that fourth goal was kind of just sealed it, didn't it? Really, a little bit annoying because 3-2 looks better, but it didn't make me think much when they got the fourth. To be honest, I thought it was done when they got the third. But yeah, really good performance overall, mate. A few little bits that were frustrating, but like we said at the top of the show, like with Andoni, we're going to play good football. We're going to look like we can score goals. We're going to be really exciting to watch. But like we also said, if you lose 4 of your back 5, you're probably going to look a little bit shaky at the back. It's exactly what happened. So it's not a surprise. I know that things are difficult to get done, but that was always. I think you were kind of with me on the point of I understand what people are saying, that we've lost 4 of the back 5, but there's still a lot of the window left. I said, but there's still football matches to play in that time. It frustrates me that people go, well, ages till the window closes. We got a game.
Yeah.
And Diakite, I didn't think played badly at all. And I think he looks like he could be a good player. He's been in the door a couple of days. He barely knows probably the players' names. You know what I mean? So to go to Anfield, I was really impressed with them all, to be honest with you. There's a few that were maybe average, but I thought on the whole, everyone had a good game.
Sky Sports obviously don't think we're entertaining enough, though, because we're not on the TV in the Premier League for absolutely ages. We are in the Carabao Cup, but then every match is televised. But surely that's the case for showing us a little bit more regularly. 215 live games, none of them involving Bournemouth, well, apart from the opener, of course. But
amazing. I'll tell you what, though, if you were a neutral, what a game to start the Premier League.
Yeah,
brilliant.
One that had absolutely everything. It was your statistical man of the match.
Ooh.
If you were going to...
Well, it's got to be Semenyo, hasn't it?
Has it? Let's check SofaScore and see what it was.
Unless they do it for a...
Semenyo and Gakpo, 8.7.
Gakpo was good for them, to be fair.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what...
Mo Salah and 8.4, Ekitike 8.
Yeah, I'll tell you what I thought was, for Liverpool fans watching, because I've seen him before and been impressed by it. I thought Konate was absolutely atrocious.
Yeah, he was bad.
I've never seen him. And that's why I always think that... I'm sure Liverpool fans agree that he had a bad game, but... That's what I always think when people don't notice saying ever because he didn't score and he's a striker. I think if a centre-half, that's a bloody good centre-half, has a game like that, the striker must be doing something right.
Yeah.
And I just thought he was causing him a lot of problems.
Petrovic scored well, by the way, as well.
He made a few decent saves.
Considering he conceded 4, 7.4 was actually a good score.
Very good conceding 4. Yeah, he made a few nice little saves. I thought there was only one that was really difficult. One hit so hard from Verts that he tipped over, which I really liked. We always have some good long range saves at Anfield. I remember Boris doing one as well there. But I thought most of the time, pretty much everyone played pretty well.
So we've spoke about Semenyo, we've waxed lyrical about Truffert pretty much. Petrovic.
Yeah, good.
What about Alex Scott, who probably deserves a bit of a mention?
He does, because also, he's not really, we've said this before, we're not really sure of his exact role in the team. I think surely now you're looking at it going that Andoni must like him further forward, because the fact of the matter is he's played in the number 10 role, basically, in this game when we've got no Cook or Christie.
Yeah.
So if he still can't get in as one of the deep players, whereas you'd say it might be easier for Tav to do that. I think what it is obviously Tyler Adams is the deep player. in terms of energy off the ball, because I actually thought Tav was probably one of the players that didn't have a great game on the ball, but I think some of his running off the ball, I can see why he plays him when Christie's not there, because he'll give you that like Christie does. And Scott was getting very high to Evan Nilsson. I thought he was doing all right. There was some really nice touches in there. His pressing was quite good, better than I've seen it previously. So yeah, I think Alex Scott had a decent performance. I thought they all did. Like I said, I thought Tav at times was probably frustrated with his final bit. We spoke about the shot, and Celesi had a few little rusty moments, I felt. Apart from that, I thought they were all pretty top.
Yeah, DKT still learning.
Yeah, so I thought he was fine.
So hard to judge. But you know what? The biggest compliment I could say is that Liverpool didn't blow us away, which I think every time I've been to Anfield, I mean, I wasn't there for the 2-2.
Yeah.
So you can probably say differently about that game. But nearly every time I've been, they've always been so dominant and blown us away completely.
They have. I even remember the 2-2 game. When I think back, because you just think, oh my God, it was amazing. It was Limbs because he scored quite late, Josh King. But when they got 2-1 up, it was just all there, and it was comfy. You thought, we're not even getting them. And it was just one of them games we managed to skank one. It wasn't like it was a really even game from what I remember. So yeah, normally going to Anfield, you go, just get this out of the way. And I think that was our best performance at Anfield despite the result. And one of the strongest Liverpool teams. Because remember, we've been there, no disrespect, but we've been there when they've dipped a little bit, and we've beaten them in the home game, for example. So, under Brendan Rodgers and people. So yeah, no, fair play to us. And, some of the stars, as much as I appreciate that, like Salah scored at the end. For Trafford, by the way, debut in the Premier League. He's come in and he's dealt with Salah really well.
He looks a hell of a player.
I'll tell you what, we had the best left back on the pitch in this game. That is actually, because Liverpool fans, I think you will love Milos Kerkez.
Yeah, you will.
He will be brilliant, but that's the worst I've ever seen him play.
Yeah.
And I just
Semenyo though, isn't it?
And I've got to say that is Andoni again, because you look at Brooks and Semenyo, you go, Brooks on the right, Semenyo's on the left. He's done it for a reason, hasn't he? He's done it for a reason. And
he couldn't really cope with him.
He couldn't. There was one time he jumped in on him. Yeah. And he's lucky that Semenyo was too good for him. He couldn't cope with him at all physically. And even Smithy was overlapping really well as well. So yeah, it was a good game. It was a good game. I was really pleased with everything, mate. It's a real shame we couldn't quite hang on for a 2-2.
Fair play to Milos for coming over and applauding the Cherries fans. I've got to say, there have been a couple of people that have shared the clip on social media, and it looks like he's being, really, really nice. I was watching the whole thing, and it looked almost like one of the Bournemouth security people, not Joe, but the other one.
Yeah.
It looks like he goes up to him when he's chatting with his own teammates in his own half, and he says, can you come on over because someone wants your shirt or something? And he almost has to walk Milos over to the Bournemouth fans who then... It may have just been coincidence, maybe, but he did come over anyway. He did applaud us. We were all singing his name, and hopefully he knows that he's still loved at AFCB.
Do you know what tweet I had ready at 2 though?
Go on.
His dad with a cigar. I had it ready. I had it ready. I'm so glad I didn't tweet it though.
Yeah, thank God. You know what? One of my most favourite quotes of the weekend was,
go on,
watch the Anfield Wraps post-match pint with Neil Atkinson in the Glenbuck. And he says, the most impressive team in the country have just got beaten by Liverpool. Christ, they are good. And to be fair, like the three of them in the pub, I've only seen a little bit of it. Usually they only have the first 5 minutes of their post-match pint, but they do the whole show. And from the little bits I've seen, they were really, really impressed with what we've done. And they want Semenyo now.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. And fair play to them. They're always good on there anyway. I enjoy watching them. But I think they're all buzzing and obviously really happy with their team. But there also will be a lot of relief because we played really well, and there was a moment when Semenyo gets that second where they probably think we could lose this. They've taken off a few of their big hitters. Like Ekatike went off as well. So yeah, fair play to them. But that's if they want to go and win the title again. That's what teams like that do. Yeah, exactly. So where does this leave us in the table then? Well, we are 16th. Here is how it's looking now. Of course, we know that Everton and Leeds are playing on Monday night. Yep. If you're watching on a Monday, that's tonight, but it could have been yesterday if you're listening to this on the pod. And hey, look at Sunderland. They're doing all right. They're doing all right, aren't they, the Mackhams? Yeah. Early thoughts? I mean, it's like too early. Is that how it's going to end? Well, I mean, you never know. Just looking at the league table, Sunderland obviously really impressive. Early thoughts are kind of, God, West Ham are bad. Yeah. But maybe credit to Sunderland as well. Early thoughts are Nottingham Forest going to do it again? I remember saying to you not long ago, they can't be as good. They've got Europe, and Chris Wood ain't going to do it again. It's straight away. It was unbelievable. Yeah, Brentford, this is no disrespect, looked like they had a manager that hasn't managed. It reminded me of when we had O'Neill. Okay. You think he's probably got the group together, he's probably a good coach, but it just didn't look right. I weirdly thought Man U played well. I watched that game, but Arsenal, you could argue, if I'm going to say it about Liverpool, sign of a team that are going to be up there.
Yeah.
Didn't play well, ground it out really well. Chelsea looked crap, which surprised me. What was my favourite quote of the weekend, though, was it's been one game, and I heard Scott Parker say, fine margins, get in there, get in there. So, yeah, they got battered and barely looked like they could have a shot, which was good fun, mate. Yeah, you're going to dive into a little bit more of the Premier League?
Well, I might do. I mean... Oh, hang on. I thought we had a whole show without any VAR inconsistencies, but you're going to prove me wrong, are you?
I watched the Palace-Chelsea game.
Palace-Chelsea, yeah. Okay, 0-0. Nothing happened there, was it? I mean, they had a free kick disallowed, didn't they?
They did. Rightly disallowed for the law.
Oh, okay.
Gahey was, too close when they hit it. So, but that's never happened before, so... Wouldn't worry about it. It's exactly what happened at Chelsea, Stamford Bridge. We're 2-1 up, 97th minute.
Reece James
free kick. And Andoni kicked off after because he said the rule states that their players can't be. They did nothing.
At least it ends there, though. There weren't any further issues, were there?
This new rule, which I think could be quite good, but the 8-second thing.
Oh, right. So if the goalkeeper's got it in their arms.
Yeah. So obviously I'm a nerd, so I went back.
You got your stopwatch out?
Yeah, I went back and had a look.
You didn't?
Alisson done it about 3 times. Over 10 seconds every time, but so they're just going to pick and choose. It's like this free kick. Again, it doesn't matter. I have all these rules. They'll just pick and choose when they use it. Yeah. And and I could also put myself into this. That Senesi one that we've spoken about, that'll be a red card next week. Yeah. There's just no consistency. So all of it's just a load of rubbish.
And surely this 8-second rule, if this is to be a thing, this can be a thing that surely easily can be done off-site. And if it's over 8 seconds, just press a little buzzer, his watch goes off, his other watch, maybe they can wear loads of watches, one for all the different new rules they're bringing in. And then he can say, look, it's a corner.
Yeah, it's really not difficult. So, Burnley were punished with it, but no one else. That's the first one that's happened to. That'd be a good quiz question, by the way, years to come. Who was the first keeper? And it was Martin Dubravka on his Burnley debut. But, I just noticed that. I haven't looked at all the other games. I'm sure there was other games where it was over 8. It just feels like it's too much of a kind of grey area on every rule.
Yeah,
it's just grey area on every rule, so just don't mess about with it. But other than that, Bournemouth were obviously brilliant, but I felt the weekend's football was pretty good. There were some good games in there, mate, and I'm looking forward to it being back.
Ours was definitely the best, though, wasn't it? Ours was definitely the best Premier League game, for sure. Albeit not the right result we wanted, but I think we even said on the preview, it's more about the performance. Yeah. We are reassured after watching Bournemouth lose 4-2. We don't often say that. And next, we face Wolverhampton Wanderers. Look, there's still content on the way. Like I said, an away day show. Plus, we've got the views of international supporters that were watching the game. But for now, from myself and Tom, it's been a pleasure.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Good to be back.
Have the chairs.
Petrovic, I like it. I do like that.
That's very good.